From the beginning of our permaculture transformation, my wife and I wanted to keep bees. The thought of having our own bees pollinating our property and providing honey was too good an idea to pass up. So with neither of us having any experience, we headed down to our first bee box making workshop. And it's a very foggy morning. It's about 0.8 of a degree this morning. Throughout the workshops, we learned how to nail the boxes together, sand them flat, dip them in boiling beeswax to seal them. We painted them, and lastly learned how to put together a board to assemble the frames that the bees would eventually fill with honey.
So how do you think today went?
Overall a success. Didn't get it all done today, so we're going to take it all home and get it all done. After some silliness, we finished assembling the frames and putting them in our bee boxes ready for the new bees. With our attractive beekeeping suits and hive tool ready, we eagerly awaited our hives to be shipped off to be filled with bees and a new queen. We were introduced to our new bees out on site and got our first go at handling the frames. We even made it into the local paper. We also got to see the beautiful pollen patterns the bees make on the frames. The bees add an enzyme to the pollen, allowing for long-term storage. It is commonly referred to as bee bread and is a food source for the bees and the developing brood. Once our bees were home, we were able to take our time to observe them coming and going from the hive, paying particular attention to the pollen the bees carried on the backs of their legs. Which no doubt some of them collected from our wattle tree. Hi everybody, so this is my first ever opening of a beehive on my own. Been on the property I think maybe 4 or 5 days. We've had 3 days of pretty much continuous rain, so this is my first opportunity to inspect the hive. And all I'm going to be doing today, making sure that the queen is out of the little case that she came in. Just a reminder to like and subscribe for more videos. The first inspection went well. The queen made it out of her queen cage. Seeing the bees working the frames up close was great. Even Woody came to see what all the buzz was about. It wasn't long before we had our first swarm, most likely from our own hives.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, just let the smoke drift through. That's beautiful.
How's that?
Now, tip them in there. Don't be too rushed.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry dudes.
Now just face it there. Just face it right up close to where you're standing.
So basically when we see it all settle down tonight,
Close
it up
and shift it where you want it.
Okay.
How was your first swarm catch?
Very exciting, and I think we've managed to get the queen in the box as they're all starting to move from where they were hanging out, which was in amongst this succulent. I think they're starting to make their way into the box, and now we've got 3 hives. One thing I'm noticing is a number of the bees are sitting fanning their wings into the hive. A week later we had our second swarm, again from our own hives. It looks like we have a hive about to swarm. Thanks to the swarms, our apiary quickly grew to 5 hives, so more boxes needed to be made. In the middle of summer, after having our bees for about 6 months, we had our first honey harvest. While the process is straightforward, the equipment like the hot knife,
Fella, they're all that easy.
and the extractor,
Very rocky.
took a bit of getting used to. If I had my time over, I would have gone the extra mile and purchased an electric extractor. It would have saved my arm. If there's an aspect of beekeeping you would like to see a longer video on, please leave a comment. But keep in mind, I'm a hobbyist beekeeper and I'm also learning along the way. It is very satisfying eating honey from our own hives, whether it's having it on toast or adding it to our morning cereal. This behavior of rocking forwards and backwards is called washboarding. There are various theories as to why bees do this, from they are cleaning the front of the hive and/or are in between jobs during their life cycle. If you have heard another theory, please share it with us in the comments. Despite the bee suit, I received a number of bee stings in the first few years, mostly around the wrist area, so I decided to get a full body ventilated suit. The material of the old suit made it unbearably hot, whereas a ventilated suit allows it to breathe, reducing the temperature inside the suit considerably. To date, I have not had another sting. Touch wax. With the arrival of a little one, we needed to move our hives off-site. A sad but necessary move. Travelling to inspect and harvest honey off-site is a lot more difficult and time-consuming as opposed to walking out our back door. But such is life. We moved a few times until we found the right location about 15 minutes out of town. Every once in a while I'll forget the smoker or something. I didn't bring my hat. Case in point, I forgot my hat. I just don't feel comfortable without it, so I'm going to go home and get it. Due to our very hot summers, I deliberately placed our hives under a medium-sized tree that provides partial shade in summer and full sun in winter. While the travel time was more convenient, the nectar in our region wasn't, with a slow honey flow over a 2-year period. However, this year we managed to harvest some honey. However, the first harvest is mainly canola honey due to the farming of canola in our area. Canola honey quickly crystallizes in the frames and/or the honey containers, making it a less desirable honey. Our strategy is to get the canola honey out of the hives once the canola has lost its flowers, in preparation for other nectar flows throughout the season. A satisfying job for me is processing the wax that comes out of the old and damaged frames. This can add up to a lot of wax that is great for making beeswax candles, something we also do. Turning our rendered beeswax into candles that we can sell is just another part of our transformation towards a permaculture lifestyle, allowing us more time to work on our 1/3 of an acre homestead. We sell at local markets.
Welcome to Dimboola Market.
Also have an online store. If beeswax candles and other beeswax related products are something that you are interested in, check out our store in the description. I actually have a hive that was queenless the last time I was up. I grabbed some eggs and brood and honey from the other hives to try to allow that hive to requeen itself, and so today we'll see if that worked. In order to check the frames, we've got to separate some of the separate the frames. The bees can sometimes stick together. So with this hive, all I want to do really is just see evidence of a queen. I doubt I'm going to harvest anything from it. Yeah, there we go. So we successfully requeened this hive. Our latest harvest, which was done in the middle of summer, was the largest ever. Heavy, fat frames full of honey. Check that out. Extracting 90 kilos or 200 pounds from 4 of our 5 hives. At this rate, an electric extractor might be a must. Despite this large amount, there was plenty of honey left in the hives for the bees. Okay, it was a very successful harvest. We collected 6 boxes. Each box has 8 frames in it, so that's definitely the biggest harvest we've had since we started in 2017. So very happy. I like to get onto it pretty quickly just in case the bees find the honey in the shed and we have a massive problem on our hands, or the ants or whatever. So I just like to get onto it, get the job done, but it usually means a late night and an achy body the next day. Nature will always throw you curveballs, whether it's an ant invasion that takes out one of your hives or high winds making inspections more difficult. There is always something to keep you on your toes. Despite the stings and challenges, this is what it's all about. Delicious liquid gold straight out of the hive. The next best thing to owning your own hives is finding someone local who does. Who knows, you might get some honey or discover a new hobby. A lot of hard work goes into being a hobbyist beekeeper, but choosing a life that moves away from the mainstream system, some might say walking the narrow road, is a road we are dedicated to walking down. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing to our channel and joining us down the narrow road. Thanks heaps for watching to the end. Subscribe for more videos and give the video a like. Check out our amazing beeswax candles, the link is in the description, and we'll see you in another video.